All right, family, it's your brother Asad.
And I'm Adrian.
And we are back again with another quick video. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new material on this channel, new content on this channel. Secondly, in terms of housekeeping, we got to make sure we give a special shout out to our South African family for all the love you guys have shown this channel, my family, the little content and stuff that we do. We really appreciate it. And all of the other supporters, we want to make sure that we thank you too. Third, in terms of housekeeping, this Sunday, February 13th, 7 p.m. South African time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here in the U.S., we will have this month's South African-American dialogue focused on criminal justice. Oh, it's going to be some good stuff. We got some judges coming on to talk about criminal justice, both in South Africa as well as in the United States. It's going to be some good stuff. Bam, 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 bam. Now, what do we want to talk about today? I want to say some names to you. Sean Bell, Breonna Taylor, Oscar Grant, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Alton Sterling, Eric Gardner, Ahmaud Arbery, Dante Wright. What do these names have in common? What do these names, how do these names and these people from various parts of this country, various age groups, how do they intersect? Where do they come together? Well, let's add another name to that list. Amir Locke. Amir Locke's name may not ring familiar to you right now, but currently in Minnesota, they are protesting the death of Amir Locke because the police entered his home with a no-knock warrant. What is a no-knock warrant? That means they bust in your house. Right? No knocking. Bust in your house. Break your door down. Went through the house. Shot and killed Amir Locke while he was asleep. And he was not even the person for whom they were looking. This is America, people. All those other names, how do they intersect? They are black people, brothers and sisters, who have been shot and killed by police officers in the United States. And those were just a quick, let me think of something. Let me think of who I can think of. Let me remember. I've missed so many.
Far from an exhaustive list.
I've missed so many on this list. So many sisters, because a lot of times the brothers' names gets, a lot more attention, and that's part of the misogyny and patriarchy within American media, within the American African-American psyche and American psyche period. But we get into that later, right? But these black bodies are piling up as it relates to these extrajudicial killings of black people in the United States. Why are we talking about this on this channel? Something so somber, so serious, when we are not, this not the type of channel. We're usually having a good time and laughing.
Cracking some jokes.
Cracking jokes. Well, Amir Locke was just killed this past weekend. Friday, to be exact. Right?
Right.
Friday. Maybe Thursday night. Let me say, I think he was killed Thursday. And pardon me, family. But it was December 2020 when George Floyd was lynched. When he was lynched for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in front of the entire nation, crying out for his mother. Lynched, murdered by evil, by the criminal justice system. By the criminal justice system. He wasn't murdered just by Chauvin, whatever the boy's name is. He was murdered by the criminal justice system. That that death that he faced was just a metaphor for how the criminal justice system has been murdering black men in the United States literally for a century. But it was 2020 after the death of George Floyd that we said enough is enough. That we begin to plan, and unfortunately it's taken us to now to really be seeing the end of the light at the end of the tunnel, because we wanted to make sure we were doing things correctly and decently and in order, right? But it was the death of George Floyd that said, no, we will not just sit around this country. We will not allow Austin, our oldest son. We will not allow Aiden, our baby, to be brutalized and victimized by this system that thrives on black blood. We will not. So you see, there are many African Americans who are repatriating to the continent. Some are going to Costa Rica. Some are going to the Caribbean. Some are just saying, well, any place is better than here. Mm-hmm. Any place is better than here. Now, I know there are some people who will look at this and say, well, no, brother Asad, you got to stay there and you got to work to change the system and you got to do this. And I say more power to you. More power to you. I was on a call on Monday, yesterday, with a mayor from a city in Minnesota. He's an African American mayor, and his city has been, it's Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn City Center, I believe it's called. Mayor Mike. Mike is a young African American, maybe 42, 43 years old. He looks very young. And we were on this call because part of my job, one of my jobs is working on criminal justice reform throughout the country. And in the beginning of this call, he had his city is the city where Dante Wright was killed, right? And then 10 minutes away from his city, Amir Locke is murdered this weekend. So we have Dante Wright, and a whole law has been passed in that state around Dante Wright and that killing. And as they're implementing this type of progressive change in the city, 10 minutes away, literally 10 minutes away, they're a suburb. Amir Locke is killed by police officers with no knock warrants. So I'm on a call with the mayor, and he was so somber. You could see just the discombobulation of thought, of emotion, right? He's a mayor, so he has to respond and say certain things a certain way, but you can see the undertone of emotion. He has children. He's a black man himself. He knows that he's a mayor of that city, but when he leaves out, he's just another, I ain't gonna say it, y'all. Huh? When he leaves out of that city, he could be just another victim. So when you ask us, why South Africa? Why would y'all leave the United States? You know, people get to asking questions. They get to asking questions. Why would you leave the United States?
There's violence there.
They right. It's dangerous in South Africa. I say, you got to check your history. Now, listen, we're not going saying that South Africa is a utopia. No. What I'm saying is that my son doesn't have to shrink himself to fit into the low expectations of white supremacy. He doesn't have to worry about being pulled over and being called the N-word, get out the car, because what you doing in this car? Now, you know, this car is too nice for you to drive, boy, get out. He doesn't have to worry about somebody shooting and killing him because maybe he might get shot and killed, God forbid. You can get shot and killed for other reasons, but it won't be because he's walking down the street in a neighborhood where he doesn't belong.
Going for a jog.
Right? Right? How much longer do we take this, black folk in America? How much longer do you take it? How many protests can you go to? Huh? That is a serious question. How long can you protest? Don't you realize that we were protesting police violence and extrajudicial killings and lynchings in the 1900s? Dr. King was protesting. How many marches can you attend? How many bodies have to be stacked up? I just want the answer to these questions. We've been singing "We Shall Overcome" for 50 and 60 years. When we gonna overcame? Well, no, seriously.
We have over.
When we gonna overcame? Huh? When Dr. King said, he had a dream. When was his dream? When does his dream become reality? And how long do we invest, right? And hope and pray that this dream does become a reality. And the question is, we may want it to be a reality, but does the majority of Americans are they invested into that dream the same way we are invested into that dream? Right? We can move away from police killings and names on the list and talk about the income inequality, talk about the mass incarceration, talk about the lack of wealth. When are these things going to be addressed? We built this country. No, let's not get it twisted now. I'm not one of them Negroes who act like, no, we built it. Yeah, we built it. It was our blood, sweat, and tears. It was our grandmammies and grandpappies who was out there in that fields, and that free labor built the wealth of this nation, right? If you run any business, you know that the single highest expense is labor, but they had free labor for centuries. We gave it to them.
We were the wealth.
We were the wealth. We were the capital. We were traded on the stock exchange. We were the wealth, right? Yeah. We built this nation. And yet we have nothing to show for it. Nothing. I'm disgusted by the nation that I was born in, because I know the conditions that my people live in, and I know what future my children have here. And it's bleak. It is bleak. So they give us music and let us sing and dance. They give us sports and let us play football. But they won't give us freedom. They won't give us liberation. They won't give us equality. They won't give us justice. So year after year, generation after generation, one comes and one dies. And we stuck singing the same old song, doing the same old thing over and over and over again. How long? How many bridges do we have to cross? So I'm done. I've washed my hands. I'm sorry I'm so serious, but I'm done. We have washed our hands of this. Got anything to say, baby?
I was going to jump in when you said how many bridges do we have to cross, but I was like, I don't know if this is the time to jump in. Bob Marley lyrics. Before we can talk to the boss. I was waiting. I was like,
that might not be right. That might not be right. But yeah. Man. I'm sorry I was so serious, y'all, but anyway.
It is a serious topic.
It's a very serious topic, and that's why Sunday's discussion about criminal justice is important, because we have two judges who are able to talk about, they don't only be talking about extrajudicial killings, but they can talk about this criminal justice system and its flaws, especially here in the United States. It's flawed. Right? It is flawed. It is deeply, fundamentally flawed.
And depending on the origins of the system in South Africa, if its origin is in a colonial power, it's got some flaws too.
It got some flaws too.
It's gonna have flaws.
It's gonna have some flaws too. And let me tell you, when we say it's deeply and fundamentally flawed here in the United States, is you say, well, we have to diversify. You get more black police officers. You get more black judges and more black prosecutors. Yeah. Do you know that some of these places where these black folk was killed, it was majority black cities? Right? Do you know that they had black prosecutors and black police officers on the scene? Right? Listen, some things we need to question whether we need to diversify or deconstruct. There are some things that we don't want to diversify and be included. We want to deconstruct those things and build something new, something better, something different. All that, we need to have more black judges. We do need more black judges, but will that correct the problem? I'm not sure.
Depends on who those black judges are.
Right. And what we have known is that black folk, that when you talk about systemic racism, it is not who the faces that are in the system. The system itself is racist. And the output, no matter who you put, no matter what the input you put in the system, the output is racist. That's what we mean when we talk about systemic racism. And we also know that black folks can ventriloquize white supremacy as good as white folk can talk it. Right? Negroes talking about pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Negro, we ain't got no boots. But anyway, family, I'm sorry. Anyway, family, I'm sorry. I think that's enough. Catch us Sunday for the South African American dialogue. I'm sorry, family. I may have gone too far, and if I offended anybody, and if I said anything out of my passion for the situation, I do want to apologize. If I said anything that seemed harsh, right, I apologize. But I'm serious that this is a very difficult situation that Black Americans and many other folk of color, right? Because if you look at the number of our Hispanic brothers and sisters who are being killed, Native Americans are being killed. I keep telling y'all this language is called infrahumanization. We are not, it's not only about dehumanizing us, is we are not seen as human as the in group. They have no problem killing us. You know? It's like sport and play. They have no problem. You know, they'll think twice. Man, listen, our white brothers and sisters, and I love our white family. I'm not that type of brother. But our white brothers and sisters know. The police pull them over, they give them all kind of flack. Why are you pulling me over?
Oh yeah.
What is your problem?
Quick.
Right? Get out. I'm not getting out the car. Get your supervisor out here. Yeah, they give them all that. They riding around with their guns and straps, and they like, sir, okay, thank you. All right. Because they see, this is a matter of seeing them as, number one, human.
Right.
Human. That's the most fundamental difference. But secondly, is they are seen as citizens. See, we are seen as second class citizens, not fully citizens. Henry Clay said we were 3/5 of a human being and codified that into law. We were 3/5, we had arms, but they didn't work for us. We had brains, but they couldn't think. 3/5 of a human being, and put it in law. Right? So that hasn't really changed in terms of the perception of who we are. We are something like citizens, but not really.
Well, it's the same reason you can have elementary school kids nowadays being told to go back to Africa.
Right.
How many centuries we've been here?
Right.
Why would you say that?
Right. Because it's a reminder that has been perpetuated subliminally, subconsciously, and consciously, overtly and covertly, right? That you are not really a citizen, young black person. So go back to Africa. You don't, and it's basically saying, you don't like the way we treat you?
Get out.
Get out. You don't like being killed when we feel like killing you? Get out.
Need to be happy we letting you stay here.
All this time we let you breathe this good white air? Get out. You know, it's like an abusive husband.
It really
beating his wife.
Black Americans are in a very abusive relationship.
Just smacking her around. Pow! Face all swollen, right. Nose bloody. She's saying, why are you doing this to me? I'm leaving. Get out. Where you gonna go? You gonna go back to your mama's house?
We are in an abusive relationship.
And then watch, don't you really? And then so when the wife says, "Yeah, I'm going back to my mama's house," what did they tell us then? What came next? Them Africans don't like you. Don't go over there. Them Africans don't want you. So then we confused. We'd have been beaten, been in this house all this, been married to this abusive man for 20 years. He beating us, face all bloody, eyes all swollen, bones broken, scratches and everything in our face. And he tell us, we say we leaving, right? We leaving, and he tells us, where you gonna go? Your mama don't want you. Your mama house in disarray. It's broken down. Right. It's poor. The roof leaking. You want to go over there? Yeah, but at one point, at some point, that woman's either he gonna beat her till she die, or at some point she says, you know what? I'm about to pack my bag.
It's like Mister from The Color Purple, huh?
And until you do right by me, you black and you're ugly. Yeah, yeah. And she's at the end of it. She said, I may be poor, I may be black, I may be ugly, but I'm leaving your bum behind right here. I'm leaving your bum behind right here.
We gotta hit that point.
All right.
Stop hoping and wishing. These people have shown you over and over again.
When somebody shows you who they are, you gotta believe them. You have to believe them.
You have to believe them.
Right? And that's why I'm going back to my mama's house. And you told me my mama's house was broken down. The roof was leaking. The toilet didn't work. The stove was messed up. We still cooking outside. And right, then I go to my mama's house in this Johannesburg. I go to my mama's house in this Johannesburg. It's Cape Town. It's Durban and Pretoria. It's Kigali. It's Nairobi. Huh? It's Accra.
Right.
Huh? It's Abuja. Wow, wait a minute. You mean a man who been beat me, been lying to me too? And he got the nerve to be cheating on me, but we ain't gonna talk about that when he got the nerve to be cheating. He beating on me and he cheating on me. Lord have mercy. Lord, that's enough.
We go on and on.
I can talk about this all day. Lord, that's enough. This ain't got nothing to do with South Africa, really. No. I'm sorry, South African family, but I had to get this off my chest.
Current events.
Yeah, I just had to get it off my chest.
Real people living real lives.
Yeah.
Things happen. We're discussing it.
And we'll be discussing criminal justice this Sunday.
This Sunday. Tune in.
Please. I know. I went far. I apologize. I'm back. I ain't gonna go far like that no more. But
Was it that far?
I don't know. Because some people don't.
I'm used to you, so maybe that's it.
Yeah, people don't understand how. I heard Jill Scott say, some people don't understand how deep it really goes. Trying to tread on a dream when the water feels low. Yeah, if you don't know what it's like to have it all, to think you've done it all that you're supposed to do. Right? And let's talk about it. Both my wife has a graduate degree. I have a terminal degree. Work hard. I don't sell drugs. I don't smoke. I just stopped vaping. If y'all notice, I don't vape. I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol in over a decade. I don't even know, more than a decade. I don't do any drugs. Never. Don't smoke no weed or none of that. Don't do any of those things. I don't cheat on my wife. You'll never find nobody talking about old brother side out here running women. I don't do any of those things. I'm home every night with my family, taking care of my children, trying to teach my boys to be men. And here I am. I think you would say that I should have some protection against some of this blowback, but we don't. I know that when I leave out of my door every day, and I'm riding down the street, and I see that old police car get in that rearview mirror, and I'm looking up at that rearview mirror, and I see that police car get behind me, turn that radio down a little bit, and I'm listening to the news station. I ain't even listening to gangster rap. I'm listening to the
hoping the horse gonna save you?
Huh?
You hoping the horse gonna save you?
Maybe to see the polo.
Would a gangster be wearing this?
And then, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I work in your courts. You know what I'm saying? I work in your courts with the people you arrest. I still know that when I look at that rearview mirror, a certain level of anxiety. I'm not afraid because fear is not a part of Islam. Right? We only fear Allah. So I don't feel afraid. But there's a level of anxiety knowing that the confrontation with these people could lead to my death or my arrest. Right? How much longer we got to keep living like that? I'm tired. Tired of that. All right, that's it. I'm not going to keep getting into this.
All right.
Family, thank y'all very much for watching Sunday.